Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be playing The New Order with a submod which is quite recently uploaded onto the Steam Workshop called Atac Shishalakov. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's a submod which gives content to Tuva, or Tannu, PRC, People's Revolutionary Council, however you want to know this little region. It recently got its content removed in the base TNO game, so I guess this was just a tribute to this old nation, which lots of people enjoyed. Anyways, let's take a look at what the submod has to offer. We've still got our old leader, who was a former Soviet general. I don't know how to pronounce his name, I'll figure it out later on in the video, but he's a field marshal. It's possible to get him as a leader, I think, but right now we've got Shishalakov as our leader. We're in a pretty dire situation right now, however that's not going to stop us from trying to reunite the Soviet Union once more. So, let's see how we can reunite the Soviet Union. Now right here we've got a little event, or decision, whatever, which introduces us into basically what we've got. We've obviously got Alexander Vasilevsky as a field marshal, who's pretty nice, and I've also got a pretty interesting focus tree. Well, why is this interesting, you may ask? Well, it's got different features compared to other Russian warlord states, which aren't like major Russian warlord states like the West Russian Revolutionary Front or Komi. But we can help out our guy, Valery Zeppelin, and he did win his war against General Yagoda. And as we finish this side of the focus tree, our bonds and ties between our nation and Valery Zeppelin's nation, Varetia, are tied even closer than they were before. So if we reunite Central Siberia, they reunite Far Eastern Siberia, it'd work out extremely well for us. Now I just want to mention, I did have many issues with this run. I had to restart over 10 times, and that's an understatement. I had so much trouble with this playthrough, but I finally figured it out. I had the West Russian War, Second West Russian War mod equipped with this one, and it didn't really work out, so I had to disenable that submod for this one. But anyways, we fixed our kind of broken economy and army, and that would conclude our first national focus tree. Pretty nice. Well, now we've got the second national focus tree of the video, where we have enabled the submod decisions. So, without further ado, let's commence our first wars of the video. Now, we have got a pretty sizable army of 23 divisions. They may not be of the best quality with the division template and equipment, but it'll get the job done. Now, I thought that I'd have a pretty blissful time invading these two minor nations, however the Siberian Black Army decided to declare war on me. However, them being a bit foolish, weren't prepared for their own war that they declared. But we were officially fighting 4 nations, because we also declared war on those crazy Russians who think they can reunite Russia under a kingdom. Like, this isn't the medieval times, is it? Actually, that's probably gonna haunt me one day. I'm gonna have to do a video on them, 2 videos to cover both their leaders. But just to fit the theme of the video, we aren't in medieval times. We strive for a socialist utopia for the greater good. Anyways, besides that, we had a little trouble with our northern and eastern front. whereas they fell with relative ease. Khmer also fell with relative ease as well. Now, for us, that means there are only 2 contestants remaining in Central Siberia, besides us of course, Tomsk and Novosibirsk. So, I decided to declare war on only Novosibirsk. Why? Because Tomsk was pretty weak and they were already at war with Novosibirsk, so they capitulated. Well, that means Novosibirsk is extremely tired, their army morale is extremely low, meaning our 23 divisions can march into the territory with ease. Meaning, we could reunite Central Siberia under one banner. The event hasn't got a description, but that doesn't matter at all. All that matters is that Central Siberia has been reunited. The people of Central Siberia are extremely joyous from this new reunification under one banner. A Soviet banner. Well, we're not really communists. We don't really fit Karl Marx's manifesto, but it doesn't matter. We will change ideologies once we reunite Russia, hopefully. However, we cannot celebrate just yet, for as we may have some supporters, but we've also got many ops, or foes, that want to tackle our government down. However, with some focuses in a new focus tree that we've got, which is pretty sizable, we can unlock new national spirits, and those focuses will also give us buffs and traits, and help stabilize our nation. I mean, look at that. Is that 2% stability I see? Oh my god. But anyways, we continue down this little focus tree. Now, I didn't know what I was doing here, okay? So, if you know what's already going to happen in the video, which I hope you guys didn't skip, I want you guys to watch the entirety of this video, and you guys would know that I chose the wrong decisions, but I didn't know at the time. But I wanted to reunite the Soviet Union under one true communist banner, not an evil oligarchic state, or an anarchy, anything like that. True communism. So I thought I chose the right focuses, but turns out I didn't. So when you guys are doing this little game, if you guys ever do it, do not choose the focuses that I chose, or at least most of them. I chose some right, but some wrong. I guess you guys can figure it out yourselves. So now that we're done with the political side of the focus tree and everything else, we can go over to some diplomacy. Now, I don't really want to go down British on the other side. I want to focus on a true socialist state. So, I'm going to go down this right side of the diplomatic side of the focus tree, where we can expand our influence to our bordering nations such as Kazakhstan, and as most of you probably know, Shishyalikov can be the leader of Kazakhstan in base TNO. I think the Organization for the Preservation of the Soviet Union, I think that's where Shishyalikov dwells. Anyways, getting back to the video. We were expanding our influence across the nation rapidly, all across the globe, meaning we could form the Comintern. We were the leader of the Communist International. A major leap for our nation. A teeny little nation founded in Tannu. Now gets to expand its influence to nations like Vietnam, some socialist nations in Africa, and our communist allies left in the former Soviet Union, which will hopefully be reunited by Shishyalikov. We'd also be the founders of the Comintern, an economic sphere which will hopefully grow to levels exceeding the OFN. Anyways, enough of the boring stuff. The year is now 1969, and after so many years of waiting, so we can finally enact in some diplomatic talks between us and the Far Eastern Soviet Republic, and utilizing Shishelikov's diplomatic skills to the max, we were able to get a leverage over the Far Eastern Soviet Republic, meaning all, or almost all, Siberian territories except for the west are now under Shishelikov's control. A major victory for Shishelikov, and an even bigger victory for the motherland. And then fast forward another 2 years later, it's 1971, and Western Russia and Western Siberia can hopefully peacefully reunite with us. It was Zhukov and Shishelikov who engaged in diplomacy, but Shishelikov would remain triumphant with his diplomatic skills, meaning we can fully annex the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. We get not only the land but also their army and generals, and as you can see, this is going to be absolutely beneficial for our nation. For us, we now have the combined strengths of Zhukov's Soviet Union and Shishelikov's Union as well. We get Zhukov and Tukhachevsky and many more field marshals and generals to serve our glorious nation. But more importantly, with a click of a button, we can successfully reunite the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.
Командиры контрработников, партизаны и партизанки. На вас смотрит весь мир, как на силу способную уничтожить разбойничьи орды немецких захватчиков. На вас смотрят все народы Европы, временно подпавшие под иго немецкой тирании, как на своих освободителей. Великая освободительная миссия выпала на вашу голову. Будьте же достойны.
Alrighty, enough celebrations. We've now got two objectives at hand: getting revenge on those who humiliated us during the Second World War, which is going to be avenging our loved ones who we lost to the Germans and other nations. And secondly, we've got to cement ourselves as a number one power on this accursed world. First, we are going to invade Kazakhstan. Even though they are socialist, we are still going to invade them. And we are also going to try and negotiate with the Japanese for our former Soviet Japanese territories back. Tackling our southern threat, the Socialist Republic of Kazakhstan, was pretty easy with the help of our newly acquired field marshals, Zhukov, Tukhachevsky, Rokossovsky, and of course, Vasilevsky. I think it was pretty safe to say that the Kazakh army stood no chance against ours. And just like that, Kazakhstan is now under our control, but they are not fully assimilated yet. For us, we have just kind of installed a puppet government to convince the people that we are number one in the world, or we're going to be number one in the world. But we can also conclude our negotiations with the Japanese. It'll be pretty hard, but I always win. And also, we obviously have to fully integrate Kazakhstan into the Soviet Union as well. We've successfully got all of our former Soviet Japanese territories. All of them except Sakhalin, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is that we can invade the rest of Central Asia. The Turkestan Legion is getting pretty strong, so let's just seize any of the territorial dreams. And just like that, all of Central Asia is now back under Soviet control. Pretty nice, if I do say so myself. But we cannot fully integrate Central Asia by force. Peaceful means and matters is the correct way to do that, whereas we successfully reunite Russia through diplomacy as well. And just like that, the fourth power, us, Soviet Union, emerges. We've acquired nuclear weaponry. However, I do not plan to use it, whereas I'm not an idiot. Killing innocent civilians is just... So we're just gonna use this to apply more leverage to cement ourselves as a #1 power on this accursed world. But you know who did kill innocent civilians? The Nazis. So, it's time to eradicate them. Or, not like that, but just show them who's boss. This focus has been completed, and we are now officially at war with Germany and its allies. As you can see, Zhukov and Tukhachevsky have both got new portraits, and so has Shishelikov. We are all ready for the Second West Russian War. we have successfully humiliated Germany and its allies. Germany has officially surrendered. And with Germany and Armenia's surrender, a new hegemony falls over Ukraine, the Baltics, Belarus, Caucasus, Moscovian, Volga Germany, etc. Look at that, Mikhail Gorbachev is leader of the Muscovite Reconstruction Authority. We've got a lot of focus tree, which is still a work in progress obviously, as you can see, but it enables us to fully integrate the newly acquired Russian territories. Some things that this mod has to offer after the Second West Russian War is integrating St. Petersburg, the Moscovia little thingy, Crimea, and we can also get a little states of Finland for free. They still haven't fixed that little bug. Okay, that's a little bit weird, but whatever. Now, I don't know what I was doing here. I have no clue what this is. So I just chose social nationalism. I didn't know what this was doing. I didn't want to wait till 1918, because that's when the next elections are for Brezhnev. But, yeah, as you can see, Brezhnev is our leader. And we would also fully integrate the rest of our Russian puppets. But I did wait it out until the 80s. TNO in the 80s is mad. But I got quite a bit bored because the elections just got postponed another 4 years later to 1984. So I decided to declare war on the remaining European enemies. The Nordics. Germany's back. And they're stronger. Well, not actually no, they're not stronger. But they've got allies like the Italians, British, Iberians. So we're just gonna eradicate the Soviet traitors. The Brezhnev way, which is a bit harsh, but oh well. Now, also, while doing this, my PC was lagging quite a lot. It was so painful. I had to cut out some bits because it was taking so long to load. And it was, overall, just painful to play. But just like that, we remain triumphant. Oh yeah, the real mastermind behind this, Alexander Vasilevsky. Brezhnev does not deserve to be our leader. Well, personally, he doesn't. Back in 1962, we were a small, puny little nation that basically everyone didn't recognize as a legitimate nation. We were founded in Tannu. That's absurd. But Shishakov and all the other great Soviet leaders have led us too many victories. Our economic bloc, our partners, our allies, have all united with us, stretching all across Europe, Africa, Asia, and even in the Americas. We are the #1 nation. We have accomplished all of our goals. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and